This week we are going to focus on color. Color is an element of art, and it comes from reflected light. When we see color, it is from light being reflected off of an object. This week in particular, we are going to work on color blending in your exercise and in your project for the week. So for your exercise this week, we are going to create bar scales where we will blend colors. And what we are going to do is we're going to take two colors and we're going to take those two and blend them into each other, and where they overlap, they will create another color. So I'm actually only going to use 7 colors, and these are the colors that you're going to need: red, orange, yellow, green, violet, blue, and sky blue. You're also going to need a ruler and a pencil to set up your paper. So to do this, we're going to start by drawing our scales. The first thing you want to do is, like we had mentioned in the past, we're going to line our ruler up with the 0 at the edge. And I am going to draw a line from 1 to 7. And we are using computer paper or your sketchbook paper to do this on. After I draw that line, I'm going to come off on this one side, and I'm going to come down 1 inch and make a mark. And I'm going to come down 1 inch here on this side and make a mark. Once I have the 2 marks, I'm going to line my ruler up with the edge at 0, the edge of the paper at the 0, and the 2 marks that I just made are going to be resting on top of my ruler. And again, I'm going to start from 1 and I'm going to draw a line into 7. Then we're going to close this in. And then we're just going to do this 4 more times. So we have 5 bar scales. I'm going to leave a little bit of space between here. So again, I'm going to leave that room there. I'm going to start with 0 here at the edge of my paper. Draw a line from 1 to 7. I'm going to come down 1 inch on this side and also on this side. Line my paper up with the edge of the ruler at 0. 1 to 7. Close that in. And we're just going to keep doing this 3 more times. Okay, so when we're finished with those 5 bar scales, we are going to label them. This top one here, we're going to put yellow right here. And we're going to go green here. This one we're going to say sky blue. And we're going to go blue here. This one we'll say blue. Over here we'll say violet. Here we'll go orange to red. And the last one will go yellow to orange. So looking at this first scale here, we have the color yellow and green. So we're going to pull those 2 here. What you'll notice is I have, if you look at each one of these here, I have wrote the lightest of the 2 on this side, and then the darker of the 2 goes on this other side. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to start first by applying a light coat or layer of your lightest color. And I'm going to do that in a circular pattern, more like ovals, I guess. I'm going to try to keep it kind of going the same direction as I applied on here. We don't want to push too hard too quick. So just like you did with your pencil and shading, you're gonna learn to ease up that pressure that you put on your pencil whenever you're blending colors as well. So we're gonna take this yellow into the middle, and as I kind of come over towards this other side of the bar here, I'm gonna ease up and not push it as hard. So it's gonna be a little bit lighter. And as I come back to this side over here, I can push just a touch harder on my pencil. Apply more pressure on this side. So then I'm going to pick up my green, and I'm going to start with it here on this side. Again, I'm kind of using ovals. You'll notice that when you do ovals and you're applying things, you'll get kind of more even consistency whenever you do that versus using lines or back and forth. Again, it's just kind of a light layer. And you'll notice that we're going to do a lot of layering when we do this, okay? Because layering is what's going to help us achieve what we need. It helps you with the blending. If you push too hard, too quick, or if you push down too much, you're not going to allow the colors to blend. They'll be too saturated and you'll get more of like the stripes like you did with your value scales. Okay, so right now what happens is we've got a very light layer. It's just a layering effect that we've done on here now. You've got, your colors have blended. They're just not very saturated. So what we are going to do is we're going to take this kind of another notch and we're going to kind of burnish these, which means to kind of push them and make them more saturated. So we're going to go back with this light, the yellow, and we're going to push it more. We're going to do that same process of layering. We're going to keep layering now until we can get that burnishing effect, like I said, where it looks more saturated on your paper. Whenever we color sometimes, we get in the habit of doing very light layers, and we want to learn to kind of push those and actually show them where they can be very vibrant and bright, and the intensity can be a lot more whenever we do that in the colors. And again, if you can see little white specks of your paper coming through, then it's too light. So we're going to keep layering till we kind of get some of those out of your work. Remember, as you come across, we're not pushing as hard. We're just lightly taking it over into it. And what happens when we blend these is we start seeing, obviously in the middle, a different color. So what we're getting with this particular bar scale that we've done here, since we went from yellow to green, we're gonna get, or we should achieve the color yellow-green here in the middle when they overlap. Okay, so when you're finished, you should have a bar scale that ranges from yellow to green, and here in the middle you'll start seeing the color yellow-green. So you're going to continue to do that same process with each one of these colors. For the next one, you will do sky blue, go into blue, then you'll go blue to violet, orange to red, and yellow to orange. Okay?